Good morning, Rabbi.
Morning, Joe.
I have recently had yet another conversation, not much of a conversation, with another anti-vaxxer. I have had recent articles that I've reviewed about other conspiracies, not conspiracies, but just people who, for whatever reason, think the government is out to get us, or we're not safe, or all the precautions that people take don't really matter. I know I weigh this against the experiences that I have talking with law enforcement friends about, does it really make a difference if your shoes are x-rayed or not before you get on an airplane? And I wonder how all that jibes with modern day-to-day life. Are we really safe? Are we being too paranoid? Are we not being too paranoid enough?
We are very, very safe, and our paranoia is misguided. We are worried about the wrong things. And taking off our shoes for the airplane, not taking too much liquid. It's all theater. Wiping down surfaces with bleach to prevent COVID. It's not scientific. It doesn't work. It doesn't do anything. It's all theater. As human beings, we want to do something to make ourselves feel better. And paranoia is another one of those emotions or feelings or psychological states to help us feel better. The problem is it's misguided. I would be thrilled if the NSA, the CIA, was really concerned with my whereabouts and wanted to inject a chip so that they would always know where I am. That would make me really important. I would be thrilled. I don't think any of our government agencies really care. And if they want, I carry a mobile phone. It all can be tracked. My calls can be recorded. It's all tracked. It all can be done. So if somebody wanted to, it can be done. To project out and say, well, I'm not going to get the vaccine because Microsoft, Bill Gates is injecting a chip like you do in dogs to find me. Well, I'm 75, and I talked to my vet about having him inject a chip like he does in dogs so that if I wander away, my wife could find me. And he was equivocal about it, but I think he might come around for my own safety and plant a chip to find me. And we're laughing because we realize that's ridiculous. It's misplaced to think that you go to a mass. My wife and I went to Six Flags to get our vaccine in March, and hundreds of thousands of cars and people. The military ran it and they did a beautiful job. Everything was lined up, everything went through. And then the state supplied all the healthcare people giving the shots. I would like to believe that they were so clever that they could look at my wife and I and go, oh, they don't get the real vaccine, they get water. Oh, don't give them that. Too complicated, too much done. There's too many people, too fast, too much. They would have had to give water to thousands in order to make sure that I got water. Misguided. All misguided because I want to think I'm so important that they're out to get me. It's not true. If you want to be paranoid about something really that makes a difference. Next time you're driving, look out the left window, look down on the left side, there's a white line. The only thing that's keeping you from getting killed by oncoming drivers is that they've decided to stay on their side of the white line. That's it. There's no barrier. There's nothing to prevent a car from hitting you head on, except that we have agreed to the rules of the road and decided to stay on our side of the line. So if you want to be really paranoid, start saying to yourself, what if that guy coming towards me doesn't agree to stay on his side of the line? What if he decides to kind of slide over? Ooh.
Like
And
Christopher Walken in Annie Hall.
yes. But it's very rare. And usually it involves alcohol or using your mobile phone and not paying attention. There are usually good reasons why it happened, not a randomness. And anti-vaccinators, I would guess that most people who are anti-vaccine have got the polio vaccine. I would make a bet on that because it works and they didn't get polio. Many of us who are older had smallpox vaccine, dengue fever, yellow fever. When I migrated to Israel, I had to get a passport, and I also had to get a booklet that kept track of all the shots when you go to a foreign country.
Yeah,
And
lots of countries won't let you in unless you get a whole list of shots.
correct. And the reason for that is they work. It's been demonstrated that they prevent polio. It prevents whooping cough. It prevents dengue fever. It prevents all these things, and that it's not in anyone's best interest not to give it to you because you're going to infect large numbers of people. Look,
But
Joe,
but history has shown us examples. The Tuskegee,
yes,
uh,
yes,
situation is one of the more famous ones where the government did intentionally not give the
correct.
cure.
Correct. And that was done in a closed study. It wasn't done to a mass population. And it was the oversight, the IRB that was viewing it, didn't do their job. There's no question of that. It was intentionally done to hurt a group of individuals. That's not a question. But it wasn't in terms of all over the country. Johns Hopkins did a series of lead paint studies, and the IRB let it continue when children in Baltimore were their blood levels went up, and the study should have been stopped immediately, and it wasn't. However, a couple of months later, it was stopped. Once it went up the chain of IRBs, and people realized the IRB at Hopkins had violated its moral code, the study was stopped immediately. It should have been stopped as soon as the first data came in. But because it was in poor neighborhoods, not just Black, it was poor neighborhoods, the study was not stopped. It took a while, but it was stopped. And I think we have enough checks and balances that the idea that I've been singled out for this one thing isn't valid at all. And we do it because we want to think that we're more important than we actually are, rather than we're all human beings and we have different jobs. And unless one is doing something clandestine against a government or against other people, then nobody really cares what we do or don't do. I would also ask the anti-vaxxers, do they go to the dentist? Do they get Novocaine? Do they get their teeth filled? It's all the same science. And have you had knee replacement, hip replacement? Have you had any surgeries? All the same science. Have you ever had anesthesia? All the same science. It's all the same. So I would say if you're an anti-vaxxer, then you should go back to Civil War medicine. Well, no, Middle Ages medicine, because you certainly don't want to do things that are science-based. I don't understand why.
You're on the leeches.
Well, leeches are back, by the way. Medicinal leeches are being used again. We've realized they do have a use, not as extensive. And we don't do bloodletting anymore. And we don't talk about the humors in the body. So I've always been fascinated by the anti-vaxxers focusing on this very narrow issue. And yet they'll go to the dentist, they'll go in for surgery, they'll go to anesthesia. It's all the same science. It's just a bizarre human nature that we're picking this one thing to demonstrate. And it's extremely harmful. The latest statistics came out today from the Associated Press. No one is in an ICU who has been vaccinated. Every ICU has people who are not vaccinated against COVID. What more do you want? Just look at the statistics that are coming in around the country. And once in a while, there's a breakthrough. So it's a big headline. So-and-so had the vaccine and they got sick. Okay, somebody crossed the white line and had a head-on. So it's going to happen. However, if you look at all the cases of COVID, all people who did not get vaccinated, and the seriousness of which the disease happened, people who have not been vaccinated. Polio, we almost wiped out polio. It's coming back again because people don't want to use a vaccine. Was ist das Chochma? Where is the wisdom in this? And I'm fine. If you don't want to participate in science, don't show up in the ER. Don't come in and expect modern medicine to help you because you already said you don't believe in it. I can agree with that. If you don't want anything done, there are some religions that don't believe in blood transfusion or certain medical procedures. That's perfectly reasonable. It's across the board. They don't say, I believe in having a tooth extracted, but I don't believe in this. No, that I don't buy. If you're going to be an anti-vaxxer, then be anti-medicine. Stand up for what you believe in and refuse to go to the ER, refuse transfusions, and anything else that might have to do with health related. Then I can respect your opinion. But until then, you're on your own.
Headline for tomorrow: Rabbi encourages people to stay out of hospitals. Well, one thing I know that it is valid and always reliable is your advice and wisdom, Rabbi. Thank you very much.
And thank you for listening, Joe.